Well, I don't know about y'all, but I certainly am glad that Kazuchika Okada and Zack Sabre Jr. produced one of the best wrestling matches of the calendar year. Because if they hadn't, I'm not going to lie to you guys, outside of one particular thing, I would have been super critical of a few particular things on this card because, oh boy, there was some bad shit here. I'm John Renton with my review of New Japan Pro Wrestling's Hyper Battle from April 9th, 2022. They had another Hyper Battle event on April 4th. I didn't watch it. Outside of checking out a couple highlights, I didn't watch the full thing. Because I looked at the card, I go, okay, I'm just going to save my time for this. Because I watched all the stuff from Mania weekend, well, WWE stuff, and I checked out FTR versus the Briscoes from Super Card of Honor, and there's just a lot of goddamn wrestling. I just didn't have time. That being said, Kazuchika Okada, Zack Sabre Jr., fucking golden thumbs up. Thank you, Jen, for sending me this. I really do appreciate it. C block, baby, all the way. Man, remember when David Finlay was doing that? That was pretty interesting. But anyway, enough about David Finlay and his, little cheap trophy. Let's talk about this event. There was some good story building. And also a couple repetitive things. And also a Will Ospreay promo. Yeah, it was kind of dicey at points. But anyway, loaded card. And this also may be the only New Japan review that I do for this month. That being said, though, the Windy City Riot show comes up on next Saturday. If you guys want me to review it, let me know in the comments. I may pull it on Twitter, since it is something that I would have to get either on pay-per-view on New Japan World or get it on Fight TV. I'm willing to do it. If people are going to watch it, that'd be great. Hey, I get to see Scott Norton still competing in a New Japan ring in 2022 in a 12-man tag match. That being said, though, Windy City Riot looks pretty goddamn good. Let's talk about this event. Some of this undercard will not take very long to talk about. Video package, running down the card, Kevin Kelly, Chris Charlton on commentary doing remote work. Tanahashi, Guerrillas of Destiny, and Jado took on Fale, Yujiro, Chase, and Gato. Same as it ever was, and I'm sick of this motherfucking Bullet Club bullshit. I don't care about Jado and Gato having this match. They look like two old men trying to have a scrap when they can't even move or can't even jump. Even if you gave them magic mushrooms, it's the same as it ever was. No, I don't know how I managed to get to that point. The crowd was very into it. In fact, the crowd was making a lot of noise, outside just the clubbing. They were like oohing and awing and everything. Even though they've been told not to make that much noise, they're letting them slowly integrate the noise back in there. I think the crowd's getting frustrated. They're like, please, just let us. We've been doing everything we can. Please, the pandemic, Fale is washed. Good God, he had a clothesline. It literally looked like, somebody tranquilized a wildebeest and it just fell over. I mean, my goodness. And I understand age and mileage and whatever, but good grief. Jado gets a crossface for the win, while everybody gets crossfaces on everybody. My God, Chris Benoit's influence from Atlanta, Georgia in June of 2007 continues to live on. I kid. Let's move on. So, they get the red and white shirts out, while Tanahashi does, and says, hey, Guerrillas of Destiny, Jado, you're with me now. Okay. Shingo and Naito took on Ospreay and Hanare. So, jumpstart by the heels. Shingo versus Hanare would be an interesting little program. Perhaps they will do that at Dontaku. Not likely, considering something a little bit later, but I really hope they start utilizing Hanare. Unfortunately, he seems to be the punching bag for the United Empire. Even though he's gotten some quality wins in tag matches and has had some really good singles matches, they kind of had him just hit a plateau. I'm not saying he should be IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, but give him more of a chance. Anyway, it was the usual stuff. Made in Japan on Hanare, 1, 2, 3. Not a bad match. So let's get to Taguchi and Wato versus ELP and Taiji Ishimori for the IWGP Junior Tag titles. They are trying to make Master Wato interesting. Good luck with that. So, I didn't care. I don't really care about the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team division because even though some of the matches are good and there's some good flippy shit, I don't really care about ELP and Ishimori as a team. There was an unusual 69, an unintentional 69. There ain't that a lot of 69 jokes because they're the 69th IWGP Tag Team Champions and comedy. Because 69ing in public is funny, apparently. I've never done it, not that you need to know. And we get some comedy, and Taguchi pulls his tights down, and ELP is so frightened he gets pinned. No, not the man's crotch in my face. And he gets pinned. Taguchi wins by throwing his crotch in a guy's face with his underwear there. Because comedy. Because wrestling. See, when Taguchi actually wants to be focused, I don't mind Taguchi at all. Like, it's just sometimes this comedy gets a little bit much. So, Miho is ready. She is just there, kneeling down and ready to welcome Tai Chi. Tai Chi is here. And it's Tai Chi versus Yone in a KLPW no-rope sumo match. Ring out is the only way to win. They get the belts, and you got to grab the belts to get support and stuff like that. So the match was... They had to take some time to actually take the ropes down because they were going to make this an actual sumo match. It wasn't as bad as Akebono versus Big Show at Mania 21. It was fine. It was less sumo for a while. I mean, they finally did some sumo stuff. We got the referee thrown out at one point. I guess the referee's out of the match. And the ref is back. They use the belts, and Yano gets tossed out, and Tai Chi wins. And then Tai Chi says, I want this title taken seriously. Well, I mean, he actually held it like this, but this is not the KOPW Championship or trophy, provisional, whatever the hell it is. This is a C-Block trophy. But anyway, he was holding it up and saying, I want this taken more seriously. Hey, Shingo, I challenge you. Boy, that escalated quickly, but he wants to face Shingo. Bold. Oh, well, I mean, hey, Shingo versus Tai Chi, sign me the fuck up if we get the motivated Tai Chi. So, announcement. The 32nd annual G1 Climax, the glorious climax. Climaxing all over your face, all over the place for a month-long. A month-long climax. My goodness. I don't think I have the stamina after the month-long climax just happened in September and October. But it's back in the summer. Starts on July 16th and ends on August 18th. And definitely going to be interesting to see how I review this because that's a busy time. Summers are kind of busy at my work. And also I'm going to have a lot of other projects, but I will make time to do this. I don't know if I'm going to review all the Best of Super Juniors. I don't know if I'm going to have time for that or interest, depending on the field. But I will be locked in to review the G1 Climax. And big deal. Back in the summer. Big summertime tradition. And there you go. I'm for it. Sonata shows up with the U.S. title. He must relinquish it due to his injury, his orbital socket or whatever the hell it is. And he wants the title to go back to Tanahashi. But then Ospreay shows up, attempts to do a heel promo, like he's attempting to actually not be a douchebag outside of the ring, but he's also attempting to try and be interesting. Good luck with that. You're not interesting, Ospreay. Your peak year was 2019. Ospreay is a very good wrestler, can have some very good matches still, but the bubble burst on him. He is not the main event guy that he thinks he is. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. So Tanahashi shows up, tells him to shut up, and it's going to be Ospreay versus Tanahashi. I would imagine in Dontaku. One of the Dontaku events, May 1st or 2nd, I believe they are. I will not be reviewing the whatever the fuck the rest of the shows are in April. I don't care. It's not that the talents don't deserve to be supported, but I don't have the time. I'm burned the fuck out. And honestly, some aspects of New Japan have kind of made me on it. Like a couple more things here in a bit. But Ospreay versus Tanahashi, if they get the antics out of the way and they just make it a straight up wrestling match, I'm for it. They'll probably give the title to Ospreay, which means we will have to put it with Ospreay as a champion. But you know what? Him being a mid-card champion, I'm fine with that. Him being the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion again, no. So, Hiromu versus Evil with Dick Togo, Never Openweight Championship. No. Remember when Evil was interesting? Evil wasn't one of the most boring and yet infuriating wrestlers that there is in all of wrestling. And look, he can work. There's nothing wrong with being a heel. There's nothing wrong with doing stuff to get you hated. It's the same stuff. You could replay an Evil match from like a year and a half ago and you wouldn't notice the difference. You wouldn't notice the difference at all. Hiromu ended up, he tried. Oh my God, did he try. But everything is Evil. 1, 2, 3. It was garbage because Evil's garbage now. The House of Torture stuff is pure fucking garbage. Hey, we get a beatdown. Guerrillas of Destiny show up. Ape Shit hit on Yujiro. And Gunstun hit on Evil. And Tamatanga wants his revenge. Maybe he's going to go for the Never Openweight title. Get the championships off of Evil and House of Torture. Just please. Please, I'm begging you. Make shit interesting. Make New Japan better again. Just make it better. Just don't make it so up and down all around. Come on, defense, work. Okay, so the Great O-Cobb. Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb versus Goto and Yoshihashi. IWGP Tag Team Championship match. Okay, so it's been a minute. Thank you, Great-O-Khan. Thank you, Great-O-Khan, for doing what anybody would have done in any situation, but especially doing the right thing. Saving a woman from a crime. You read up on it. I'm not sure about every single detail, but he saved a woman from being accosted, shall we say. And the perpetrator hopefully was beaten into a bloody pulp, is all I'm hoping. But Great-O-Khan, great stuff. You will not hear me. I still don't care for the gimmick. I'm no longer going to call him the names that I called him. Good on him. There you go. So, I'm not saying he's my favorite wrestler, but I'm no longer going to knock the guy. So, Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb against Goto and Yoshihashi. It was enough good stuff here. I mean, despite the fact Yoshihashi is about as interesting as white bread. Pace was good, and we get a destroyer by Yoshihashi on Cobb. We get double submissions, we get double teaming, we get some pretty good stuff. It's not my favorite tag team match of the year, but we get Tour of the Islands, 1, 2, 3, new tag team champions, and Yoshihashi took the pin. So thank you. Yoshihashi is no longer a champion. At least you did one thing right. I don't actually hate Yoshihashi as a person. I don't. They are trying to make him interesting, and he's not. He's just not. I'm sorry. But good on Jeff Cobb and the Great-O-Khan. The crowd roared, by the way, when they realized that new champs were going to be crowned. And then we get Despy versus Show for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. And no. God, give Despy some better goddamn fuse. And man, can you make Show interesting? Stop with this stuff. Oh, let's have him be a heel. Let's have him scream and use a wrench and all this. And I'm a mechanic. I'm going to hit you with the wrench. Fuck all this. Despy wins. God damn it, this House of Torture stuff is goddamn dreadful. It's walking death, I'd say, but I mean, this stuff's barely crawling across the goddamn finish line before a goddamn truck runs it over. When New Japan does stuff right, they do some great stuff. And this wasn't it. Despy wins and does the rest in peace thing, the Undertaker stuff, and does that great. Knock Show further down the card as far as I'm concerned. Bury the fucking House of Torture like 50 feet under. I don't care. Here's Ishimori. And Ishimori's challenging him, even though he lost his match at one point. But, hey, okay, Ishimori versus Despy. Straight up, sign me up. And then some guy that's apparently named Akira or has a nickname Fireball. I don't know who this guy is. Apparently he's Italian. I don't know who he is. I don't know where he's wrestled. Please let me know where this guy has wrestled. I have no idea. I have never heard of him. I thought it was one of the members of the former TM61. But I know it wasn't them. It wasn't either of them. And he has a United Empire shirt on. And something about the Best of Super Juniors. I guess he's going to be in it. He had a lighter. I guess it's going to be Despy versus Ishimori and Dentaku. Or sometime. I don't know what the fuck this was. Who is he? I'm not even knocking the guy. Who is he? Let me know some matches I should check out. Or let me know what he's done. Anyway, Shibata joins commentary for Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kazuchika Okada. Ha ha! Magnifique. What a match. How could it not be good? It was nearly 30 minutes. Zack Sabre Jr. kept wrenching on the arm. Okada kept coming back. We kept getting great near falls and great submissions. A whole bunch of great shit. I don't know if it's as good I don't know if it's as good as I felt, Shingo versus Zack Sabre Jr. was. But this is close. This is really, really goddamn good. It's Okada at the peak of his powers. Zack Sabre Jr. at the peak of his goddamn powers. And what a goddamn match. Great near falls, great stuff. That stretch by Zack Sabre Jr. where he's got his legs wrapped around. He's got the arm bent back. Brilliant stuff. Great shit. Fan-fucking-tastic work. The PK caught, outside a tombstone on the floor. Sack driver for 2. I love this, is what I wrote down. We get a PK for 1, a Fujiwara armbar, another PK for 2. We get a choke by Zack Sabre Jr., how he beat Shingo, but no, the landslide brings him down to the Rainmaker. 1, 2, 3, Kazuchika Okada retained. I was disappointed because I wanted Zack Sabre Jr. to win. I was really disappointed. I wasn't mad. I was disappointed. But then Okada calls out Naito, and apparently Naito had left. Oh, wait, no, Naito didn't leave. He's just fashionably late, tranquilo, and they're going to have a rubber match. May 1st. Okay. Can we get them away from each other after this? Because I don't mind going to that well so many times, but since like February, it was like the last of the Golden Series, February 25th, 24th, 25th. And then you had it in the New Japan Cup, and you're going to have it in Dontaku. Okay, or at one of the Dontaku events. That's 3 times in basically 2 months. Got to cool it on that, even though the matches are really good. That being said, though, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kazuchika Okada, great main event. Fuck the House of Torture stuff, fuck the Bullet Club stuff. Too sweet. That's all I gotta say about that, because Bullet Club is one of the worst stables to exist in wrestling. They were cool at first. Even the NWO died, and the NWO sold more shirts than the Bullet Club. I mean, at least, because I think people fondly remember the Bullet Club, for what it was in 2013 and maybe 2015-16. People remember the NWO a lot more fondly, even though that started to peter out 2 years into its existence. But anyway, enough of that. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.